aircraft model plane on its inaugural flight landed on the roof of her neighbor's home. In later years, both Jessica and Jeffrey claimed that they had been the remote pilot of the errant plane, but nobody was ever sure why both were so eager to take responsibility for the crash landing, or each one of them had actually had their hands on the controls. Characteristics refers to research and other sources, focus on the whole life of one individual, use a blend of journalistic and narrative styles. Memoir. I knew that plane was flying too fast and too high, but Jeffrey wouldn't listen to me, just like me. He'd never piloted a remote control plane before. I think he just got carried away, because a minute later it had plunged out of the sky and landed on the miller's roof. I guess I can tell the truth now, decades later, but Mom had already been threatening to send Jeffrey to boarding school if he got in any more trouble. I didn't know what I'd do without him, so I said I did it. He took responsibility too. He tried to tell Mom that he was the one who did it, but I was so good at sticking to my lines even back then, that Mom couldn't tell which one of us was telling the truth. So she grounded us both, but she didn't send him away. I think that's probably when I first knew I might have a future as an actress. Characteristic. Focus on the memoir of an individual, doesn't refer to other research. Personal, somewhat literary style. The experience. As written fiction genre, the very same piece of non-fiction can become different depending on how we experienced it. No matter what a text says, it makes a big difference how you experience it. Comparing structures, non-fiction versus fiction. Fiction and non-fiction can be about the same topic, but there are big differences in how the author treats the topic. Reminder, these are the different ways you can experience non-fiction text: audio, radio program on audience, audiobooks, visual, a regular hours book, ebooks or comic books, live or speech, multimedia or documentary. Example. These excerpts are both about children who had to work in England in the 1800s. This passage from Industrial History of England by Haley B. Gibbon is an example of non-fiction. Sometimes regular traffickers would take the place of the manufacturers and transfer a number of children to a factory district, and there keep them, generally in some dark cellar, till they could hand them over to a mill owner in one of hands, who would come and examine their height, strength, and bodily capacities, exactly as did the slave owners in the American market. After the children were simply at the mercy of their owners, nominally as apprentices, but in reality as mere slaves who got no wage, and whom it was not worth while even to feed and clothe properly, because they were so cheap, and their place could be so easily supplied. Children were often worked 16 hours a day, by day and by night. The following message from Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens is an example of fiction. Non-fiction, fiction. The room in which the boys were fed was a large stone hall with a coffer at one end, one of each, the master, dressed in an apron for the purpose, and assisted by one or two women, ladies, the gruel at meal times. Of this festive composition, each boy had one sufferings, small dish, foreign girls, and no more, except on occasion of great public rejoicing. When he had 2 owns and a quarter of bread besides, the bowls never wanted washing. The boys polished them with their spoon till they spoon again. And when they had performed this operation, which never took very long, the spoons being neatly as long as the bowl, they would sit staring at the coffer with such eager eyes, as if they could have devoured the very bricks of which it was composed, impaling themselves, meanwhile sucking their fingers most diligently, with the view of the catching of any stray splash of gruel they might have been cast short. Boys have generally excellent appetite. Oliver Twist and his companion suffered the torture of slow starvation for 3 months. At length, they got so voracious, greedy and wild with hunger that one boy who was tall for his age and hadn't been used to that sort of thing, for his father had kept a small cook shop, hinted darkly to his companion that unusually he had another basin of gruel for daily expenses. He was afraid he might some night happen to eat the boy who slept next to him, who happened to be a weakly youth of tender age. He had a wild, hungry eye, and they implicitly believed it. A council was held. Lots were cast whom should wake up, and the master, after supper that evening, asked for more, and he fell to Oliver Twist. The evening arrived, the boys took their place. The master, in his cook's uniform, stationed himself at the cooper. The pager, poor person, the forger assistant ranged themselves behind him. The gruel was served out. A long grace was said over the short commons. The gruel disappeared. The boys whispered to each other and winked at Oliver, while his next neighbors nudged him. Child as he was desperate with hunger and reckless with misery. He rose from the table and, advancing to the master, basin and spoon in hand, said, somewhat alarmed at his own temerity, boldness, subtleness, foolhardiness. Please, sir, I want some more. There are some similarities between the non-fiction and fiction account of child labor. Both writers discuss the lack of food. Both writers describe the cruel realities of being a poor child in England in the 1800s. The reader can infer from first text that both writers were against child labor and could be writing to advocate better care for children. However, there is also a major difference due to the genre, non-fiction. And in the serial history of England, fiction, Oliver Twist. Non-fiction, focus on all children who work in England, doesn't have much descriptive detail, not said in any one place, no dialogue, including fact. Fiction, focus on one particular child, describes how lots of things look and feel, said in a specific place, include dialogue, tell a story, no fact. Why would an author choose to write fiction instead of non-fiction? Non-fiction versus fiction. Non-fiction, fiction, non-fiction. Non-fiction authors can use research like old newspaper articles, interviews, eyewitness accounts, etc. Non-fiction writers rely on verifiable fact. Non-fiction writers can include what a person is thinking and feeling by conducting interviews or verifying accounts. Non-fiction authors may find that the story that interests them most is a true one. Non-fiction often includes chart, graphs, caption, photos, illustration, etc. Fiction writers often use research, but fiction also offers us a chance to use his or her imagination. Fiction writers do not rely on verifiable fact. The author creates what his or her characters are thinking and feeling, which is generally not as emphasized in non-fiction. Fiction might give the authors a chance to tell the story in the most dramatic way and stir the heart and minds of readers. Fiction often includes illustrations or other artwork.